Hello? Okay, got it. Sorry about this.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yes, we can discuss. I think Sai was telling something.
Yeah, I was telling this will happen. Rarest of the rarest uh, scenarios, right? So I never had something like this before in my life.
Okay, this is one way of discovering the things actually, that what is happening around. It's difficult to guess what is there. And if we are not taking any unusual action to come out to bring out what exactly with the people, it becomes very difficult that to really address the issue, because this is a kind of conflict. You never know what is the reason. You can only guess. This is one of the way we
Yeah,
normally called is reverse brainstorming. That is one of the way. In this maybe it is fitting. Other in other case may not fit this technique. So there are different techniques. I give you another case to read. Now take this, read this, and then tell me how this conversation should flow. So Zara, you were saying something.
Um, Test manager, difficult person. It appears, though, in the organization, he has some sort of recognition to his detailed hard work. I guess I am opening the discussion.
Okay, so let's close this.
Again, I guess the upper management needs to speak with him. I think the people are lower, his level and lower will not change his mind. That's what I feel. Or there could be like the test manager, the customer, end of responsible people, authority people. They could all get on in the same room or same conversation and then have a understanding or acceptance of the same criteria so that the test manager is assured that the little few flaws that are promised to be accepted by the customer, so they are not held against him. I think if he is after his reputation, this should come in writing and acceptance from all related, all stakeholders, internal and external, that he is doing the right thing given the circumstances, keeping the customer happy and the internal stakeholders.
Okay, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I think Kishore is giving some suggestion that should involve test manager in the meeting to make him aware of situation and get his inputs, so he feels recognized and will respond positively.
No. What Zaira saying, that is a good way actually. That is a perfect way. There should be a discussion. There should be a formal meeting, and the technical lead, project manager, and from customer end, whoever is responsible there. There should be one meeting there. There should be accepted defeat line should be decided, and then as per that, it should be moved on.
Okay.
Internal and external stakeholders.
But let me tell you one thing.
Vivek,
Sometimes that's what we learned this at one place, that if you are new to something, on which you will trust, the historical information or the people. And we say historical information because those things are fact, but not people, because people normally present a perception. The perception may not be the fact, or may not be, or two people see the same situation very differently. So if you see the way it is being presented by Ganesha, that what is happening, it is his perception. There is no fact which are actually being presented here. Umakant is saying something that
People have a wrong perspective of the test manager.
no, if you see that what is Ganesh is saying about his perspective, his perspective that this test manager is difficult.
Oh, I see. The test team will not allow, and can you talk to test manager? So it kind of influenced for a second the test manager is the difficult person, not the team.
Right. It could be his perception based on previous experience. Test manager may not be a difficult person.
Still, though, the test manager accountable for his team's work, I think the whole case, not just the testing team or the test manager, I think still the whole team of stakeholders, internal and external, should come together, because still the organization's reputation is online, and in order to satisfy the business need of the ABC Bank, everybody should come into the same room. And this could be another clarification point during that meeting. as a sideline, they can clarify that as well.
Okay. There are some other suggestions also here. Umakant is saying discuss the impact of this with test manager, decide if it is feasible, and if not, inform customer of consequences and try to deliver as planned. Okay, I think there are a couple of things here. Maybe we can go to the stakeholders management, we'll learn a little more about it. When we have a kind of conflict with someone, we need to understand the other person's mindset, one thing. Second thing, we will be seeing that if we have some concern with a particular stakeholder, the normally solution provided that involve him into the process. So try to involve the person with whom we have concern in the process so that he can understand the things the way we are understanding. Or we can understand him better then. Most of the conflicts are not because some people are very stubborn or their natures are. I say the personality is not the conflicts due to personalities are less actually. But not knowing each other could be the reason for problems. So I will say that when Kishore is saying that involve him into the process. So involve him in the team, he will hear from the customer what customer is looking for. Maybe he find out he may suggest a better way. Along with what he want to do, he may find out a way, or both people can find out a way. But one thing which I will say that he feel recognized and will respond positively. May not be. It's not a matter of recognition. We should address the conflict. Conflict is that the test manager looks like stubborn because that's how it is narrated here. He may not be stubborn, first of all. Second thing, even if he is stubborn, involving into the system will make him understand the way we are understanding the things. This may change the way he's behaving, not because he's getting recognized, but he may be hearing the same thing what we are hearing. So let me show you the rest of the conversation here. The matter may not be as big as it appears.
I agree, Vivek, with you. I think there are twofold issues. It might be at the first level, it might be resolved internally, and there may not be needed to go to especially to the crossing borders and going to the customer. If they give the request in a writing acceptance, it could be solved internally. If not, I guess everybody gets together on a call or a meeting face to face and then come out with a mutual understanding that it's a business requirement and they should just apply it.
Yeah. So if you see in this conversation, what is happening now, we are trying to understand why he is looking for the good quality product and how we can address his point. This is called confronting. This is called problem solving. The problem is that he is looking for high quality. We need to give him an idea that we are not telling him to dilute the quality. We are also looking for, so we are addressing his concern and then bringing him into the discussion so that he can understand our concern and then come out a solution.
Right.
Another thing which may be little hidden in this, you see that how the project manager working in this. Project manager didn't provide a solution here. Moreover, he asked some of the questions which help the team member to think over and suggest himself. The same solution provided by the project manager may not go so well. So if you see, solution is provided by the team member himself, not by the project manager. Right?
Yes.
Okay, any question related to this case study or any other thing with respect to human resource? Okay, so let's go to the next chapter then. And our next chapter is going to skip communication, we'll take up later. What I will start here is the risk management. Okay. So what is risk management here is we are talking about some events which we know, but we don't know how they're going to impact the project. And those things we'll call risk. And the idea of risk management is to identify risk, analyze them for their impact, and prepare a response which can be responded if the risk materialize or you see a risk trigger. Quite a big subject. There are 5 processes in planning and 1 in control, similar to the schedule. What is the risk? The risk is an uncertain event which may occur, can impact positively or negatively our project, but we do not know when it will occur, how it will occur, and how it will impact. What will be the gravity of the impact? There are some characteristic of the risk, which is risk event, the probability of happening it, the consequences, that is the amount at stake, the overall impact, that is the probability multiplied with the amount at stake, and the risk tolerance. Risk tolerance is about what is the degree of accepting the risk or taking the risk. So there are normally three types of things. There are three types of event. One is known. They are normally events. Second is known unknown. That means we know what can happen, but we don't know how it will happen. Those things are called risk. Another thing called unknown. That means we do not know the event, and because we do not know the event, we also do not know how it's going to occur. They are 100% uncertain. We have not identified them. So all unidentified risks are normally fall into such categories. This category. So the event or the activities which you have scheduled into your project are known. Risk you have identified in your project are known unknown, and risk you fail to identify in your projects are unknown. And we need to address all three. Basically, first thing is certain, so we are not bothered too much about it, but the two things uncertain we need to address. This chapter is focused on known unknown. We discussed about management reserve in cost management plan, in cost management chapter. The management reserves are mainly for unknown. The risk we fail to identify. Now, what is risk? Risk is normally a perception. Something risk for me may not be risk for you. Something very high risk for me may be a low risk for you. It all depends upon what type of person I am and what type of person you are, so what type of person is a person who is actually assessing the risk. So there are normally three types of people: the risk takers, risk averser, and risk neutral. So risk takers are the people who are more aggressive. For them, even the high risk looks little lower. Risk averses, even the low risk looks little high. Risk neutrals are something like not a common person you will find. Most of the people will find risk neutral. They're not even very aggressive, not very passive. So the risk, if A has identified as high, not necessarily it is high for all. So everyone who is managing risk will manage it differently or identify it differently. Therefore, to identify all kinds of risk, we need to involve as many stakeholders as we can, because different people will have a different view of the project, and therefore they will identify different kind of risk. So quite obviously the risks are high in the beginning and low at the end. So as we move into the project, the degree of the risk or the impact of the risk or the probability of the risk will start coming down. And definitely amount at stake is very high at the beginning and very low at the beginning and very high at the end. If the risk materializes at the end of the project, we may lose a lot. So what we are going, normally risk is perceived as negative, understood as negative, which is impact negatively the project, but PMI definition goes on both the side, positive or negative. So normally positive events are opportunities, but we're going to address both. So there are some terminology which normally used in risk management, and let's get familiar with this. So the one is called risk appetite, that how much risk a person can take. Very close to this is risk tolerance, the degree of risk a person is willing to take, can take or willing to take. Sometimes they are very close, maybe understood as one also, many places. There are known risks, there are unknown risks, and there are contingency. Contingency is capped to handle known risk, and management reserves are for unknown risk. There are 6 processes in this, and risk management plan is all about documenting how we're going to manage risk on this project, what tools and techniques we are going to employ on this project for identifying, for analyzing, for responding onto the risk. The risk management starts as soon as the project starts, or even before project actually starts. The analytical techniques normally used to understand how we're going to manage the risk on the project. We need to understand stakeholders, their risk attitude, their risk tolerance. We should document, because based on the risk tolerance of the stakeholders on the project, we're going to take actions. It's not about project manager is doing everything, it's about all the stakeholders. Profiling the stakeholders and finding at what level we need to address the risk, and what risk response is appropriate, and what are the risks on the project. In the risk management plan, we define methodology, how we're going to identify or analyze risk. We define roles and responsibilities, that if a risk is identified, who is actually responsible for that, or if there are activities in the risk management, who will do what. A budget has to be allocated, that is something like contingency budgets, for which is actually used when risk materializes despite our mitigation action. The timing is important, because as the time moves, the new risk appear and the older risk get expired. So how are we going to manage the risk, and what frequency we need to revisit our risk management plan or our risk register where all the risks are identified. So what, when, and what frequency we're going to revisit this is important. So risk control, how frequently we need to do that, need to be identified and documented in risk management plan. We define risk categories. Normally organizations have categories of risk. We can take those categories in our project, but if required, we should identify more categories if organization categories are not sufficient. We should also define that for ranking the risk, the degree of probability and impact. So there are 2 ways we define normally, either in the words or in numbers. So like low, moderate, high, very high, or 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, or 1. Stakeholder tolerance is to be documented, because based on that your risk response plan will be prepared. We should define the reporting format, in what format the risk register will be kept, and in what format the progress on the risk management control, when we are controlling the risk, we need to report the status. How are we going to track it? So identifying the risk is one of the most important thing. In most of the projects which are suffered from risk getting materialized up to the degree of they get closed, the risk which hit the most was actually not identified. It was not like risk identified, but our mitigation plus was not appropriate. In most of the time, the risk itself was not identified. Risk identification is one of the biggest problem in the project. And this happens because the project managers or the team, they normally document the risk their own. They do not involve many stakeholders. The risk cannot be identified by project or project team. They must involve other stakeholders and seek their suggestion for identifying the real risk for the project. The risk register, I have reviewed many risk register. I will tell you that most of the risk which actually hit their impact is high. They are not there in the risk register. And what the risk register normally contains are usual stuff. Resource will not be available. Client will not be able to provide this particular dependency on time. The deployment pad will not be available, will not be able to deploy. Such which absolutely usual stuff are there in the risk register, and the real risk which is actually hitting the project is not there altogether. And when it gets materialized, when we talk to other people, what you were thinking, at least you will find one person who was suspecting that this risk can happen. But because this person was not involved, this risk was never identified. So risk identification is one of the important thing, and that therefore we need to involve as many people as possible, other stakeholders, other project managers, SMEs, customers, whomsoever is connected with the project and can contribute should be involved in identifying the risk. And therefore Delphi technique here, where we provide a survey or ask people to provide their inputs, works very well in identifying the risk. Even the person is not in person available where the project is being executed. Risk can be anywhere in the projects, and therefore you see a big list of inputs. And there are various tools and techniques to identify risk. And first tool and technique, first tool is to review the documents. You know, we every time we giving lot of emphasis of documenting assumption and constraints. Now it is the time to review all assumptions and constraints because they may be risky. We use information gathering technique, that this Delphi technique is one of them. The brainstorming techniques become brainstorming, or the group activity techniques now here being termed as information gathering technique, because in identification we actually gather the information from various stakeholders. Interviewing, root cause, and doing root cause analysis, because these are the things which will help us to identify where we need to act upon. Checklists are very good things to identify the missing factor, the missing thing. Assumption analysis, as we have seen, the document analysis is one of the tool. Diagramming techniques like cause and effect analysis, the fishbone diagram we discussed yesterday, the flow charting, etc., something influencing diagram where it will help us to identify that if one variable changing, how the impact of that one change in one variable on the outcome. So various methods can be used, various diagramming techniques can be used to identify techniques, but the most important thing is that involve various stakeholders and ask them to contribute that what risk they look into the project. SWOT analysis is one of this. The strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats is the kind of like 4-quadrant tool where we try to identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats for our projects. And normally The strength and opportunities are our positive risk, while the weaknesses and threats normally lead to negative risk. The output is normally a risk register, which means a register where we can document all the risk. We can identify, we can give number, we can give description, we can give categories, we can define triggers. Triggers are normally the symptom which give idea that a risk is getting materialized. Probability of happening it, the possible impact. WPS is this risk is attached to any root cause or any other columns which are required. And in this we also contain the possible responses, the potential responses. When you identify a risk from, or somebody says, okay, this risk he also give a suggestion that how we can address this risk. Okay. The next is qualitative analysis, quantitative analysis, and then risk response. We will see this tomorrow. So for today, let's limit our discussion to risk identification. If you have any question, we'll be happy to address. I will suggest you to please, if you have not attempted the quiz for quality, please do so. Please also attempt the quiz for human resource. It will be enabled in just in some time. So please go ahead and attempt those quizzes. This will help you to bring out some of the questions tomorrow, and we can discuss them. More we discuss our issues or our the things which we couldn't understand in the quiz, better we understand. Better we'll prepare for acting on the workplace and giving the exam, both. Any question?
Vivek, please open up a recorded session for us today. Like, it will be helpful to cope up with the flow.
I couldn't understand, Rajesh. Can you come closer to the mic and then speak?
Is it audible now?
Yeah.
Am I audible? Okay. I was just trying to request to post yesterday's recording on YouTube so that I can go through it, and I was not part of the last session, so it will be helpful for me to be part of the flow. Thank you.
You mean yesterday?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I will send you the URL for that. Fine, if there are no questions, we can close the session today now here. Thank you very much being here. I hope you're getting what you're looking for. If you have any specific feedback or anything you see we can improve upon, please do write to me.
Sure.
Thanks, Vivek.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Vivek. Bye. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.